Man, that was one of the weirdest games of the season and the wildest home run I've ever seen. Or actually, that I haven't seen.
You are Locked On Rangers, your daily Texas Rangers podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are locked onto the Texas Rangers, the first and best daily Rangers podcast. I'm Bryce Patrick, a cripplingly addicted Texas Ranger fan, covering this team for 12 seasons, including all 7 as the founder and host of this podcast. Thank you all so much for making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. If you're not already, you can follow me on Twitter at Bryce Patrick. You can follow the show at Locked On Rangers. Hit subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform and on YouTube, where the best way you can help grow the show is to comment nearly any single thing below. Now, on today's show, we're talking about a weird and wild game. A bad luck performance for Tyler Mahle, a just abysmal sixth inning for this team that truly lost the game, and the oddest home run I have ever not seen. Before we get into all of that, this episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. Now, the Rangers lost last night 5-1 to the Tampa Bay Rays in just a bizarre game. I mean, truly one of the more odd games, not the dumbest game, I'd say, but there were some really dumb, weird moments. The first of which is the most improbable home run, or maybe not home run, that I have or have not seen. I haven't seen it because nobody saw it. The one of the few home runs that Tyler Mahle has given up this season was to Cameron Misner, and it happened last night. A truly bizarre moment where a home run was reviewed because nobody saw it. It was the first run of the game. It was the lowest expected batting average I've ever seen on a homer. The second lowest was that Aaron Judge homer in Yankee Stadium to the basically the bottom of the foul pole in right field. This happened in an identical copy of Yankee Stadium, but it was the left field allegedly foul pole. A ball hit in the second inning by Cameron Meisner, a .030 expected batting average, 88.9 miles an hour off the bat, a 37-degree launch angle, 328 feet. A ball that went to left field. Wyatt Langford was back. He was on the track-ish. Actually, I don't even know if he made it to the track. He looks up, and he can't find the baseball. And you look on the replay, the camera can't find the baseball. No camera can find the baseball. But the umpires rule home run because the ball was lost in the raining Tampa night sky that no one could see. It was listed at 328 feet, but I mean, who knows? Who knows where that baseball actually ended up? I'm a little shocked that StatCast was able to track it that far when literally nobody could see it. Maybe they looked on the TrackMan data and that was able to track the ball and see where exactly it went, how far it went, and where it landed precisely. But there were no fans in the stands that were coming up with it and saying, "Hey, look, I caught a home run." No, nobody knew what was happening, and it went to review, and everyone was just like, "Okay, I guess it stands because I don't know where that ball went." Wyatt Langford didn't know where that ball went. Heck, I don't think Cameron Misner knew where that ball went, but it ended up being a home run. Wasn't the deciding factor in this game, but it was definitely a weird moment for sure. I mean, the deciding factor happened in that sixth inning of just some truly abysmal baseball. But this was another a tough offensive showing for the Texas Rangers. I would say stop me if you heard that before, but I know if you've listened to the show literally ever before this year, you have definitely heard that before. Now, I do want to give some credit to Drew Rasmussen, who has been a phenomenal pitcher this season, who somehow has a 5-4 record with a 2.14 ERA. Make that make sense. It's similar to Tyler Mahle, who has a 5-3 record with a 2.02 ERA now, because he allowed 4 earned runs, one of which is the only one of which was that home run that he was on the mound for. The rest were 3 inherited runners that scored on a defensive miscue, a wild pitch, somehow that counted as an earned run. I don't know how an error counts as an earned run. Also a steal of home, a delayed steal of home on what should have been a strike him out, throw him out, ending any double play. Or if Kyle Higashioka had just looked over to third base, he would have been able to pick off the runner there. But this was just not a good offensive showing for the Texas Rangers. Rasmussen went 5 innings of one hit ball and had 8 strikeouts, and he looked fantastic. He was painting, but a lot of these strikeouts were fluking, including 6 straight, including 3 straight in 1 inning. The top of the 4th, Wyatt Langford called out on strike 3. Corey Seager called out on strike 3. Josh Young called out on strike 3. Now, Seager and Young's pitches were a borderline, but with some of the pitches that weren't called strikes and were called strike, it was definitely a zone in favor of the Texas Rangers from the get-go. Honestly, from the get-go, from Josh Smith's first plate appearance. I mean, he had a decent overall first plate appearance, but he should have been called out on strike 3 on pitch 5. He should have been called out on strike 3 on pitch 7. Both those were completely in the zone. Both those were called balls. And then he strikes out on a fastball right down the middle on pitch 8 of the at-bat. Then Wyatt Langford also had put together a pretty solid plate appearance, hit the ball 97 miles an hour on the 8th pitch of the at-bat. Had he just taken pitch number 8, that would have been ball 4. He would have reached base, but alas, he didn't. Corey Seager also saw a 5-pitch at-bat. So when you send just 3 guys to the plate and 2 of them strike out, you still end up making the pitcher throw 23 pitches in that first inning. It's not the quality of that bat is better, but it's still not great per se. And it's definitely not good offense when your top 4 hitters are a combined 0 for 16 with a 50% strikeout rate. Josh Smith, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Wyatt Langford, 0 for 2 with 2 strikeouts. Corey Seager, 0 for 4, all of these are 0 for 4. 2 strikeouts for Smith, 2 strikeouts for Langford, 3 strikeouts for Seager, and just 1 strikeout for Josh Young on a ball that probably wasn't a strike. But the umpiring was just so horribly inconsistent, including the worst call of the day, which somehow I've stopped looking as much at the ump scorecards because they are just so inaccurate. But the worst call of the day was definitely in the Rangers' favor, a strikeout looking for Tyler Mahle on a pitch that was probably 5, 6, 7 inches off the plate, a slider that was, away to a left-handed batter that would have, maybe even gone behind. It maybe would have hit like right in the back of the thigh of a right-handed batter. It was that far off the plate, and it was called strike 3 in the Rangers' favor. So, I mean, complaining about the umpires as a Ranger fan in this one it's not a viable solution. It was just bad umpiring. It was just really bad umpiring, and it wasn't particularly in anybody's favor because nobody knew where the strike zone was except for apparently Drew Atkinson, who was painting on that outside corner. The outside corner to righties was very much in play for him. That's where he had a lot of his strike 3 called pitches. They were, close enough where they should have been fouled off, but the Rangers kept taking strike 3 over and over again, and they kept taking fastballs down the middle or swinging through pitches right down the middle. Josh Smith, pitch number 8 of the at-bat where he struck out in the very first inning. A fastball right down the heart of the plate, just completely swings and misses through it. And Wyatt Langford, his at-bats recently have been going back to his old bad habits of his rookie year, where he's just taking pitches right down the middle of the zone and, not swinging at pitches that are, not quality strikes, especially the first pitch of the at-bat. It seems like frequently pitchers can get away with just throwing a get-me-over strike, a hanging breaking ball right down the middle of the zone. You could not make it more center cut. Twice, Langford just took those pitches. And it's a problem for this Rangers team of these fastballs right down the middle, these very, very hittable pitches that the Rangers either just barely fouling off or taking. And I don't know what the new approach is that Brett Boone is preaching. I don't think it's that. He was not a guy who was a passive hitter by any means, but it's just, again, a very, very frustrating offensive night. And once you're down to the Rays, they have a very, very good bullpen. And so it's definitely an uphill battle. to score against them. But the Rangers didn't do themselves any favors with their defense, despite some amazing defensive plays early. The sixth inning was an abject disaster, which is where this team lost this game if they didn't lose that at the plate. We'll talk about what went wrong and why Tyler Mahle should definitely not be charged for 4 earned runs in this one. All that and more right after this. This show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you stop just managing your money and you start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. It was way too much money. And now I budget smarter and I save more. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONMLB for half off your first year. Shout out to the Everydayers making Locked On Rangers your first listen every single day. On tomorrow's show, I'll be back in talking about Kumar Rocker looking hopefully a whole lot better in his return to the mound for the Texas Rangers in this game tonight. But the Rangers starting pitcher in this one, Tyler Mahle, going 5 1/3 innings, 5 hits, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, 1 homer somehow, and 4 earned runs. He only threw 85 pitches in this one because of a weird 17-minute rain delay. Still a very, 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 very fast game, under 3 hours, even with the rain delay, a 2 hours and 24-minute game, because there was not much offense to speak of for pretty much anybody outside of that 6th inning. Just a truly abysmal bit of defense and pitching and just really everything in that one. To start off the game, or start off that inning, he got a pretty easy ground out from Brandon Lau. Then he walked Yandy Diaz. Then he allowed a single to Jonathan Aranda. And then the final batter that he faced on the day, Junior Caminero, walked, and that was it. Then immediately a wild pitch by Jacob Latz scores the first run of that inning. Not great by any means. And then Jake Mangum, a very, very softly hit ball to the first baseman, Jake Berger, who had made some incredible defensive plays so far this season, including earlier this game on a ball that was in foul territory where Jake Berger, dove to stop that ball from rattling around in the corner to be what would probably have been a double, I believe an RBI double at that point, and hits Tyler Mahle in stride with a perfect throw. This one, a ball that he doesn't really know what to do with, and Latz goes over to cover first base, even though I think Simeon was there covering first base, and he throws it. Jake Berger, instead of getting the run at home, which he bobbled it a little bit out of his glove and couldn't get that throw home. Not great, but you at least got to get one out there. And he throws it to Latz, who's in front of Marcus Semien, who is already covering the bag, and Latz can't step on the base, and there's no outs there. That scores a run. Junior Caminero goes to third, and Jake Mangum goes to first. Then Cameron Meisner gets called out on strikes. There is 1 out, now 2 outs in the inning as of that strike 3, and Mangum steals second, and then Junior Caminero, as soon as he sees that ball leave Kyle Higashioka's hand, he's coming home, and he steals home, and the ball is not caught by shortstop Corey Seager, and the ball goes into center field. And then you have a runner on third base, and it's Danny Jansen at the plate behind that, so he strikes out swinging, and the inning is done. But that scores the 3rd run of the inning, in which there should have been 0 runs scored. Heck, if this was a just world where all the things that should have happened did happen, the Rangers probably head to extra innings. That home run by Meisner maybe isn't a homer, or at least it's a 1-run game at that point. The Rangers were able to pull across just one run in this one. They went 1 for 3 with runners in scoring position. The one hit was by Jake Berger, who had a multi-hit day. The only one with multiple hits. Heck, there were only 4 hits in this one. One of them was a pinch hit by Adolis Garcia. This is the first time we've seen him in a game since Wednesday. That truly abysmal showing in the finale of that series last week. He pinch hit for Alejandro Ozuna against a lefty. Also saw some pinch hitting of Evan Carter being pinch hit for after literally one plate appearance, because Sam Hattersley comes in and strikes out twice in his 2 pinch hit plate appearances. Not exactly ideal, but hey, you get Adolis Garcia with a run scored, the only run scored in this one, and a couple of very, very hard hit balls for him. A couple of hits for Jake Berger, and Simeon, after weeks in the 8 or a week or 2 in the 8 and 9 hole, he is all the way back up to 6 after one very, very good weekend series against the Cardinals. Maybe he's going to stay there. There is just so much lineup juggling at this point. It feels like you have one good game, you're going up. You have one bad game, you're going down in this lineup, except for Smith and Langford and Seager at the top 3, and same with Young at the cleanup spot. It's just been weird to watch this game, and that inning specifically, it was just sloppy losing baseball. It's just not smart baseball, especially on that final run. Higashioka, seeing that runner going from first base, knowing you got a called strike 3, just put it in your pocket, or at least look over to third base, because there's a chance of the delayed double steal. There is a chance of that every single time, and the Rays are a very, very, very aggressive base running team. And it's not like Junior Caminero is a speedster. I mean, he has got some real pop. The only, what felt like earned run given up in this one was a massive homer by Junior Caminero, who has got some just truly exceptional power and absolutely obliterated a ball off of Cody Hoyer, who was called up earlier this week. They had to DFA their third catcher, Tucker Barnhart, to make room for him, but he's here for at least a day. I don't know if he will end up being the roster casualty to bring up Kumar Rocker. At this point, I would think maybe. I mean, Latz and his performance wasn't awful. I mean, that first pitch that scored a run on that wild pitch, that wasn't ideal, but even him getting 4 outs and 3 of those were strikeouts. I mean, he's looked better. He's been truly abysmal with runners in scoring position, and coming into games with inherited runners, he has allowed so many inherited runners to score, but still his ERA is down at 3.12, and Mahle, his ERA jumping over 2 in this game feels pretty unearned, but defensive plays like that, like the one from Jake Berger, even with some great defense in the outfield. I mean, Alejandro Ozuna with a beautiful diving catch out there in right field, Wyatt Langford with a diving snare in left field. Seeing him playing more left field, I think, is going to be the norm moving forward. Maybe that'll help his bat get more, in line, as opposed to when he was playing center field. His offense was putrid. I mean, his offense was just kind of putrid in the month of May, but that goes for literally everybody on this offense. I mean, they were showing a graphic at the end in one of those games against St. Louis about Josh Young, and it was meant to praise Josh Young for how good a month of May he had. And it wasn't a bad month. It wasn't a particularly great month. It wasn't even as good as his April. I mean, his April, he had a 769 OPS, Josh Young, that is. And in 28 games in May, he led the team with a 749 OPS. Led the team for a month with a 740. It wasn't even a 750 OPS. Now, that's not to say this is a bad month for Josh Young. It's not. It's a fine month. If you have a 750 OPS for the season, you're a fine player. At this point, a 750 OPS would, I think, lead. Yes. It would lead this team in terms of everyday regulars. Nope, not quite. Corey Seager is at 757, but with this offensive downturn from Young, from Langford, both of them are under 750 for the year. But if your best hitter for a month has a 750 OPS, your offense is awful. Awful. And that's what this offense has been and continues to be. Maybe it'll be better today. Maybe it was just a good day that they caught Drew Rasmussen. He's in the middle of a 20-something consecutive scoreless innings streak. That's a good pitcher on a good day. That's That's not ideal. Shane Boz has not been quite as good this year. Ryan Pepio has been fine, but not great. Maybe this is the series that they start hitting things. But if you have a 340-foot homer with a 37-degree launch angle that can be hit against you in this park, then maybe the Rangers could take advantage of these dimensions. But no, they couldn't. They couldn't even get a single extra base hit in this one. And the offense, it's been bad around baseball. And there's a little bit of numbers that might explain some of why this offense has been so bad right after this. This show is brought to you by Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site that's made for the skilled trades. Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Their easy-to-use website is packed with helpful resources and the latest product info to help you get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400-plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. Need help with an order? Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for the trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. So join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com. Shout out to the Rangers for being Locked On Rangers, your first listen every single day. After every single game, Jeff Biggs is with you with the Locked On Rangers postcast, live reaction to every single game, all 162 in your Locked On Rangers podcast feeds and on your Locked On Rangers YouTube feed. But this was just another example of the Rangers offense being bad and in ways that we don't particularly understand. I think part of the explanation is just the Rangers are maybe just not good. Maybe that's part of the answer. But there was a tweet from Eno Saris of The Athletic, who is a very, very big data guy. He is just one of the smartest baseball numbers guys. And something that he tweeted out made me think a little bit, okay, maybe this explains why the Rangers are hitting so badly. He says there's more drag on the ball this year than in any year of the StatCast era. That goes back all the way to 2016. So this is now the 10th year of StatCast. It bothered me whenever we were saying the StatCast era in 2017, 2018. It's like, okay, the StatCast era is like 2 years. Now it's been about a decade. And more drag means less distances on batted balls, and equally well-hit baseballs are not traveling nearly as far this year as in March through May as in past seasons. So you go and look up, this is through StatCast's own numbers, is talking about, I believe, barreled balls, which a barreled ball is a ball that is hit a certain, velocity between, and it's basically the ideal batted ball. If you're barreling a ball up, you're hitting it hard, you're hitting it at an ideal launch angle. And the vast majority of the time, it should not only be a hit, but it should be an extra base hit. I mean, I think about 90 to 95% of home runs that are hit are barrel balls. Maybe it's as high as 98. It is a large, large percentage. But you look at it this year, and it is just down significantly from where it's been in years past. I mean, it is 377 feet in 3,882 pitches. So not a tiny sample size. The exit velocity is just about where it's been at 26 miles an hour, or a 26-degree launch angle. That's ideal. That should be, if you're hitting the ball 105 miles an hour at a 26-degree launch angle, that should be usually a home run. And this year it's only going 377 feet, whereas in the past, the highest it's been was in 2015. It averaged 391 feet. So that's 14 feet of difference. It's only 4 feet of difference between last year and then the year before that. It was 383 feet. It's been steadily going down in the last, 3-4 seasons. I mean, 2019, it was, nearly 390 feet. I mean, that was when the ball was incredibly juiced. I think it got more juiced the farther on in the season we went. And also, like, this is not just comparing it to, the summer months when the ball is hit hard and the air is thinner, so the ball travels farther in, June and July and August when it's hotter outside. That's just pure math, especially in those cold weather cities. The ball is traveling a lot. It's more drastic, the difference there, because it will be baseball played in the 30 and 40 and 50-degree weather in April and May in like Minnesota and in New York and on in Chicago, all these road trips the Rangers have taken to these cold weather cities so far. But Tampa's not a cold weather city by any means. I mean, the Rangers are not playing. It shouldn't change that much for the Rangers because most of their games are inside. But I think this makes a little bit more sense with that combined with the weird strike zone, the strike zone changes where I talked about in an episode a couple weeks ago, where now what used to be the buffer zone about an inch or two off the plate, that would be up to the umpire's judgment to call a ball or a strike. But this offseason, that was changed to where the buffer zone is shrunk significantly, especially out on the vertical or the horizontal edges of the plate. So balls and strikes, left and right to the glove side and arm side against hitters, they've been shrunk a little bit. Up and down in the zone hasn't been as much, but it's led to a much smaller strike zone. So all of that combined, the smaller strike zone should, in theory, benefit hitters. But these balls traveling less far should benefit pitchers. It's also not something that Major League Baseball would talk about. It's not something that Major League Baseball advertises. Like when the ball was definitively juiced in 2019, it was very, very obvious. I mean, so many of the highest home run hit totals for teams in baseball history were happening in 2019. And Major League Baseball was pretending like, oh, no, everyone's just hitting the ball really hard this year. Like, that's crazy that everyone's hitting the ball hard this year. And it also might make sense to where some of this expected batting average that the Rangers have had this year has been, so much better than expected. I mean, Nathan Eovaldi and Tyler Mahle, they've been pitching very, very well this year, but they have under half a homer per 9. I mean, it's not like Tyler Mahle has been getting the best contact against him. It's been a little lucky with the BABIP. It's come back into it's kind of the pendulum swung the other way in terms of the batted ball luck for Tyler Mahle, especially in an outing like this where, he wasn't perfect, but he was pretty good in this one and definitely deserved, a chance at the win when you leave after 5 1/3 innings, only allowing 1 run on the weirdest phantom home run that we've ever seen or not seen. But again, I think that explains a little bit of some of the better batted ball luck. I mean, Nathan Eovaldi has been incredible this year, and I think that he absolutely deserves all of these, peripheral numbers that haven't been quite as favorable. His fielding independent pitching is 232. His ERA is 0.8 runs lower than that. His FIP is just measuring what a pitcher can control, which is the walks, the strikeouts, and the home runs. It takes defense completely out of the count. He's allowed just half a homer per 9, 1.3 walks per 9. That was significantly lower earlier. The strikeouts per 9 is over strikeout per inning, which is better than he's been in quite some time. Hopefully that he can come back after that tricep injury is completely healed in about 9 days or so, I think is when he'll be eligible to return off the IL. Yeah, I think it's the 13th. So only a couple more series, basically just this road trip that the Rangers will have to deal without Nathan Eovaldi. They will get some reinforcements in their rotation with Kumar Rocker. Hopefully he can start to have some more success like he had at times this year. I mean, he had one of his best starts of the season against the Rays. I believe it was those 6 shutout innings. He was a little bit better. I think his best start, honestly, was that start against the Angels. That kind of started the Angels' skid. 7 innings of 9 strikeouts, and he had 3 runs that probably should not have been earned. It's just a rare defensive lapse for this team. But overall, this is just another frustrating game for the Texas Rangers, where the offense just didn't do much. And I'm getting really tired of podcasting about games offensively where the Rangers just didn't do much. I mean, there's not all that much to glean. I think that there's, the improved approach. It's nice to see, but the results still aren't there. It's just so incredibly inconsistent. And I mean, especially after what was looking like this team going on a rally. I mean, that weekend in Detroit where the offense just absolutely exploded, that I thought was the turning point. I mean, they looked incredible. They swept against Colorado. It wasn't the most convincing sweep, but the Colorado Rockies are one of the worst teams that we've ever seen. And then really that week against Houston where the Rangers should have taken probably all 4 games in that series, but ended up just splitting. It started as a truly colossal skid. I mean, that series against the Yankees was horrible. That series loss against the White Sox was horrible. The series loss against the Toronto Blue Jays was awful. And then they come back with this one. I mean, maybe they're just going to alternate days where they look awesome offensively and days where they look abysmal offensively. I don't know what to make of this squad. Again, and we are at June 4th. I have no idea what this team is going to do. It's getting to the point where they need to go on a run now. Like, they needed that game last night. They need every game for the next month. Otherwise, they're going to be sellers at the deadline. With a healthy Jacob deGrom, a healthy Nathan Eovaldi at their peak, a Tyler Mahle who has been light years better than anyone could have expected, and just horrible offense all the way up and down. Again, I'm getting truly tired of doing the same daggum podcast for about a year and a half now. Please, Rangers, find some new ways. I mean, last night's loss was a little bit of a new way, a weird way to lose, but can you just get the offense acceptable? I'm begging you. That's going to do it for today's show. Thank you all so much for listening and subscribing, and until next time, don't forget to enjoy baseball.